Hey, this is Brandon Unsicker with Pickleball Effects. I'm joined with Austin Gridley. Austin has been on the Pro Tour consistently in 2021, started in 2020, but has just recently kind of gained prominence this last weekend with a big win with JW at Mesa. Glad to have you. Glad to have us here. Why don't you introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm just a pickleball fanatic. Really glad to be on here. And yeah, just really excited. I got to play with JW and got to have some pretty good success.
Awesome, man. I've been following your career for a while, and it's been fun to see your progression. And I was really excited for you to get that victory this last weekend. And at the tournament, I had a few buddies attend. One of them called me after the tournament and said, "Braden, you've got to contact Austin. He's doing something different that nobody else is doing. He's got a couple guys following him around, filming all of his matches. He's consulting stat sheets and notes, and keeping these pickleball statistics that it's informing his play and his strategy against his opponents. So I want to focus around that topic of pickleball stats. So first question is is it true? Do you have people kind of following you around and keeping stats while you're playing?
Yeah, and it's actually kind of funny that people are noticing that. In fact, when I met JW the day before we played, he brought up to me. He's like, "Hey, don't you keep stats?" And I was like, "Yeah, I do. I do like stats a whole bunch." And so that was all we talked about it. But it was just interesting. I am kind of getting known for that. But yeah, I did have, my brother was videoing and taking pictures for me, so he was a big help, and yeah, he was really fun to have there. And then I did have one of my coaches, Brian Geddes. He was helping me keep stats, and he was helping me, coaching me as well on the sideline.
I love that, man. That is so interesting. Statistics is such a big part of sports, especially in professional sports like the NBA and the MLB, and it's fun to see you bring aspects to that, to pickleball. And I imagine it's only going to get bigger and bigger, and it's fun to kind of see you lead the charge here. So I'm interested to hear what stats you're keeping and referencing in a match.
Yeah, so real time, we're more focusing on the winners and the errors. So we're more looking for what the weaknesses are and what the strengths are, and we want to avoid the strengths and we want to go at the weaknesses. And so we'll keep track of what the errors are, and we'll keep track of, like, if someone misses 3 forehand dinks. So we're keeping track of that. That's very important information. And then we're also keeping track of if they're maybe, for example, one of my matches, Callan Dawson, he was attacking me with his backhand out of the air, and it was really effective. He got me probably 4 or 5 times in a row. And so I was aware of that, and a lot of the pros are really aware of these dynamics in the game, but it's just really nice to have numbers associated with it. And so when I went over, my coach was like, "Hey, this is happening here. This is what we can do to counter it. Let's have you take a step back, and it should help your reaction time, and it should help." And it was actually kind of interesting. Callan stopped. He didn't even keep trying it. He saw I countered it by stepping back, and he didn't try that shot anymore. And so I basically neutralized one of their team's biggest strengths just by being aware of it, and then having a coach help me know how to get them to stop doing it.
So cool. I love that. And I imagine there's a lot of benefits after the tournament with these stats and analysis and video you've taken. So how do you use that information to inform your preparation for tournaments and practice?
Yeah, so I'd say it's 3 parts. The first part, probably the easiest one, is the video. If you just watch back your video, for example, I started to take video more often a couple weeks ago, and I instantly was like, "Oh, I'm standing way up. Like, I'm not bending my knees nearly as much as I think I am." And so next time I played, I was probably twice as low as the time I was before. And it's just easy fixes where in my head I'm like, "Oh, I'm a ninja, I'm all low," but I'm really not. And so you can see these things in the video, and you can fix it. So that's probably the easiest thing that you can do. As far as the statistics go, I think it kind of helps with, if you're missing one shot the most, you can be like, "Okay, this is an issue. I don't know how exactly I'm going to fix it, but I'm going to spend time on this problem and I'm going to work on it." And then also with it, this is also good for watching back. I kind of keep a black book, or I pay attention to what players struggle with or what they're good at, and I make notes of it. I'm like, okay, this person, they love this shot. They hit it really good. A lot of pickleball is I'm not better physically or with a lot of my technique, but if I can put my strengths against their weaknesses, that's when for sure I'm probably going to win. And if they're putting their strengths against my weaknesses, then I'm probably going to lose. And so the key is just playing really smart pickleball and setting myself up for success.
Yeah, that makes so much sense. I love that, and that's an easy application for kind of the everyday player like me who's trying to improve. Take some video, look at your, common errors and address them. If
you'd like, this might be really interesting for the viewers. I could I have a YouTube channel. I'm going to go more in depth in it, but I can kind of show how, if you're interested, how I would stat it as just a regular person if I videoed it. Kind of an easy way you can stat your own stuff.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, let me try a screen share. Yeah, so just a brief background on it. So this is... I could go into depth on the background, but basically this is a project I'm working on for a YouTube video. And basically my dad was saying, hey, my dad and my brother played in a 3-5 tournament. They got gold, and they played in a couple tournaments. And my dad's like, hey, I think I'm better than Jacob, your brother. And I'm like, are you serious? Okay, that's fair. Yeah, let's find out. So we did a group thing. Basically, we did play, who we thought was better, and then statistics. So I did statistics for the 9 games we did. I've done the first 7 games. I need to finish it so I can get this project done. But basically sharing it. So what I would do if I was statting my own stuff. So you can do touches. So every time you touch a ball, you just add it to your total. For example, this is really important for mixed doubles. If I'm only touching the ball like 10 times, maybe if I'm touching the ball 20 times, like twice as much statistically, then I'm going to be playing much better. Or maybe if I'm touching it less, I'm better. So the touches can be important. It does take more time to do that. So if you have less time, maybe don't worry about that. Then next, I'm worrying about my winners. So let's see. So Jacob, this is, I think, the first game. He had 10 winners that game. So he had 1 forehand dink and when I say winners, I'm talking about he touched the ball, the next shot they missed.
Okay.
So maybe not exactly winners we're thinking of.
Like a clean
but
winner,
if you think about it, like if I pop it up and you miss, what's the difference between that and me just putting an ultimate put away against you? Like it is different, but at the same time, it's going to even out. Points to point, exactly. So he had 1 forehand dink, and then the main one, I don't know why that did that, but the main one was his forehand putaways were his biggest strength. And so, like, if I were playing against him, I'd be like, okay, I can pop it up, but I'm popping it up to his backhand. I'm not popping it up to his forehand.
Yeah, makes sense.
And then what we do is so he had 10 forehand winners, he had 10 winners. I then look at how many losers he had. Looks like he had 3 losers, forehand drop, etc. I take his winners and I divide it by his losers. So he had 10, divided that by 3. He had 3.33, and that's his personal score. So Jacob had a 3.33 that game. And if you and your partner are both in the 2s or in the higher 1s, you should win the game. That's commonly the theme. And so I was playing with him. I was playing left-handed, actually. I'm a lower 4-0 left-handed. And I think I had 6, and I had 6 winner points, and I had 2 loser points, so I was a 3. And then my dad, he didn't have the best game. He had a lot of losers and just a couple winners, so he was a .21. And then Charles was the same. And so anyways, if you can get your opponents to be in the lower decimals and you're above a 2, and as long as your partner's not crazy dragging you down, you should win the game. And you can find out your biggest strengths, your biggest weaknesses, and it is very helpful.
Yeah, how cool is this? So Jacob is the undisputed better player here. We learned.
At least that game, right? We have 9 games to go over, but yeah, so it's actually hilarious. My dad at the beginning, he's like, I'm better than Jacob. By the end, he's talking, he's like, yeah, if I had a clone of myself, I would play with Jacob. Like, so it was anticlimactic, but it's still going to be an awesome video project.
Yeah, I mean, I'll look out for it, and we'll definitely be sharing that around. Yeah, this is so cool. I'm just curious to hear what you think the future of pickleball's, what the future role that statistics plays in pickleball.
Yeah, I mean, I think though it's just like anything in pickleball. For example, those who use recovery methods to take care of their body, they're going to have a huge edge over those who don't. Same with statistics. If those who are using statistics and are maybe using video review, etc., they're going to have a huge edge over those who aren't. And so, anyways, like for example, for me, I think that timeouts, if I use timeouts smartly, I'm going to win maybe 10% extra of games than I normally would. And I don't even have to go practice dozens and dozens of hours. So
yeah,
if you can find small ways where you can win extra without having to put too much work, that's really worthwhile.
Yeah, I love it. I love your way of thinking, Austin. Are there other professional players that are approaching you and adopting some form of what you're doing?
So far, it's just been my old curiosity. They'll kind of ask me about it. And for me personally, if someone asks me like my secrets, I'll share the secrets for the most part. I think at the end of the day, I'll use it a little smarter and I'll work a little harder. So I'm free. I'm sharing it openly, and yeah, I think as I have more success too, it'll probably draw more of a spotlight on the statistics.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, I love the path you're on, and I hope you keep seeing the success you're seeing, and it's only going to get more attention, I would think.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me on. Hopefully statistics get a little more spotlight.
Yeah, we'll make it happen right here. All right, man, have a good weekend. Good luck in Florida.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Hopefully I do good.
Okay, see ya.
Thank you.